Diatonic riff number 1, Still Got the Blues by Gary Moore. The riff should sound something like this. Now I've put a little bit of delay on there to give a bit of depth. You can hear the echo in the background there as well. It just gives a bit of a three-dimensional sound, a bit more depth, not just the tone. Now what I like about Gary Moore's work is that instead of staying strictly pentatonic like this, you'd put all the other notes in to take it out of the pentatonic into diatonic. And you can hear these notes in the riff. For example, the opening phrase, the first bar, slow motion should sound something like this. Fret number 14. And that F note over there is already outside the pentatonic, considering the song is actually in the key of C major, A minor penta. So for the first phrase, and if you want to as well, you don't have to sort of slide to every note. You can do a bend as well, like maybe something like this. And bend to the note, you don't have to slide to it. It's all really personal sort of opinion. And then for the next bar, similar sort of concept, but starting fret 12. Now I like putting a little bit of a slide that gives a bit of a sort of an after effect as well. It's a nice technique to get into. Third bar. And we finish off on the third string with a simple 14, 12, 14. And if you listen to Gary Moore, never hold back on the vibrato. It always sounds cool. Diatonic riff number 2, The Trooper by Maiden, should sound like this. Now on the breakdown of the riff, we're starting with fret number 7. That's the third finger there, fret number 7. You're going to play it 3 times, and on the third time you do a pull-off. You can see it after I've played the third 7. My picking hand doesn't pick again. Check this out. So that fret 5 is a result of the third finger pulling off. And then for the second half of the first bar, you simply move 2 frets down and do the same thing. So if we put the first bar, first and second halves together, we get something like this. And the next one, we're going to focus a little bit more out here so we can get the fingers and the frets in view there. Fingers 1 and 2 this time, similar concept, just frets 2 and 3. Then you jump back really quick with the first finger to fret 5. And then you pause after that 7 I've just played. And if you look at the third bar, you'll notice the first 7 is missing if you compare it to the first bar. So frets 7 in the first and third bar, we're missing 1 7, aren't we? That's because at the end of the second bar, that last 7 is sustaining or still ringing in the third bar. I'm going to play it through now, the whole way through, twice in a row, and then watch out on the third bar, you can hear the pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you have it. Diatonic riff number 3, Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne with Randy Rhoads doing the guitar parts. Should sound something like this. Really iconic riff. You have to learn this one sooner or later. Let's break down what's actually happening now with the fretting hand. It's played at F sharp minor, which means finger 1 is going to be by fret number 2 on the 6th string, and we have to lower the thumb to help get the pinky to stretch. If I raise my thumb like that, my hand sort of closes up. So drop the thumb, you'll get a nice stretch. First bar, I'm going to start with a double 2, and you'll notice that the 2s sort of alternate. So almost every second note is a 2 for the first bar. So slow motion, check this out. And there's a bit of a pinch harmonic which comes through. I like pinch harmonics, you don't have to. But on the second bar, we definitely want to palm damp. So the second bar is going to start on the 2 on the 5th string, and the pinky, watch him work there again. And the last note's the open string. So let's put bar 1 and bar 2 together, slow motion. Sometimes it's more difficult to play something slow. Okay, now on the 4th bar you'll see there's 2 power chords. I'll just put them inside there because sometimes we forget about it, and the intro riff goes through a lot more time. So just one more time to sign out. I just like playing the riff. And you all know what happens next. Diatonic riff number 4 of the final countdown by Europe could sound something like this. It's the part that's actually done by the keyboard, but if you put a bit of overdrive with it and do it on guitar, it could sound something like this, which sounds pretty cool. Recognize that. Now let's break it down. I'm going to go back to clear sound and see exactly what's happening. It's a nice easy riff to do. Take it straight from the tab, fingers 1 and 3 most of the way through, starting at fret number 6, and you're going to, and then the hammer-ons and pull-offs are optional. So if you want to do a hammer-on and pull-off, and a hammer-on, it's really at your own discretion. And then when you jump up to the 7 and 6, you can actually play that with only picking one note. Check out. And then the slide does all the techniques for you. So you can really interpret this how you want to do it. And again, like we said, with a bit of overdrive. Now the 2 that's in brackets, if you listen carefully to the original, there's a chord that implies the 2, but it's not really part of the melody, but it sounds really cool. So what I did over there is, as I play the 4, there's the 4, I sort of slide down to the 2, but try and let the note fade as well. It sounds quite cool. And the last part, you can hammer on, pull off and pick as you want. Just a really cool riff to do. If you want the rest of the riff, drop me a WhatsApp and I can send you the whole as well. Diatonic riff number 5 by The Sword by Slash should sound something like this. A lot of hammer-ons, a lot of pull-offs. I did it on acoustic because the original starts with acoustic and then it repeats the riff with a lot of distortion, or a lot of overdrive, quite a high gain. But let's look at the techniques. It's a really fun riff to play this for acoustic as well. And we're going to start at the first bar with a double hammer-on, pick the 0, and I'm going to hammer-on and hammer-on. So I'm only picking the first note. Pick, hammer, hammer. Helps with the legato. And then the next 3 and 5 I pick. And then the next 4 notes, you'll see by the spacing that should give you an indication for the timing that 5, 3, 0, 3. And you're also only picking the first 5, and you're onto the power chord. Now, just to show more in detail the picking technique and the hammer-ons and pull-offs, I'm going to play the first bar a bit more slowly so you can see the sound as well. And you can see by this hand lifting up, I was purposely emphasizing where the hammer-ons and pull-offs go. Back to the fretting hand. Next bar, nice and easy. That changes a bit, and this chord is quite sneaky. The thumb is coming over the top and it's playing a D at the bottom there, but he doesn't play the first string. But if you do by accident, it's still going to sound cool. But the thumb is playing that note, and that gives us a D with the F sharp bass. Third bar, every time there's a bit of a twist halfway through. That 5-3-0-3 is definitely the theme. into a power chord, and then the last bar is the same. Riff number 6, The Metal by Tenacious D. Now this is quite a tricky riff, this one. It gets the pinky working, it's got some nice pauses. So I'm going to move the guitar now onto my other leg so we can bring up the fretting hand. Now, first of all, the first finger doesn't do much. You're going to start with a power chord, open E, and then you're going to do, and you've got to pull off from the 3 to the 0, and then you go down to the 5th string, and the complete phrase is only one pick. But it must be quite fast. To get that legato, we need the legato, which means the smoothness of the notes, and the speed will help it. Second bar, nice and easy. And it pauses dead there, dead quiet. Okay, and again, lots of hammer-ons and pull-offs, so it's a really cool exercise there. Third bar the same, and now comes the finger cruncher. We're going to start with the F now. Now the trick over here is to get the pinky onto that 5th fret really quick and only pick once. Watch this. What I'm doing with this hand over here, with my picking hand, I'm going to zoom in on it, is I'm actually resting these fingers on the strings to make sure they're nice and quiet so I don't get the necessary string noise. Okay, so try the metal, it's a really cool one. Gets the pinky working, lots of hammer-ons and pull-offs. Diatonic Riff number 7, Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton. Nice, mellow, laid back, definitely clear tone for a change. Now, there's a commercial release that he did. He's done it on various live albums, and every time he does it slightly different. So feel free to make your interpretation, yours uniquely. Now it starts with a 7, 10, there's your 7, there's the 10, and then you'll see a 12 in brackets, but above it it says bend and release. So what's going to happen, I'm going to bend this 10 I'm tapping on to sound like 12. So I'm going to do this. So I don't actually go to 12, I bend to 12. That's the second bar, same but for the last note. Nice double bend there, works quite nicely. And I've heard some versions where it goes and puts a little double stop inside there as well, so you can really play with the song. And then the closing 4 notes is going to be 7, 8, 12, 10. Now it sounds quite nice if you do a little rake onto the 12. And all I'm doing with that rake there is bringing my palm heavily onto the frets. You can hear the strings can't move, and as soon as I want to get to the note I want to play, I simply lift my palm up. You can see the palm lifting in the background there as the light comes through. So it's, and that's Wonderful Tonight.